Kefeya has made a bunch of really cool portable monitors. I like their, laptop extenders where they have 2 extra monitors that fold out and they go on the side of your laptop. But if you want a little bit of a bigger monitor, like when I travel, I don't like to have tiny little monitors. I like to have bigger monitors. So when I go to Taiwan, I'm taking the Kefeya D1 portable monitor because it's 23.8 inches, but it's extremely flat and it essentially is its own case. The stand folds down to become the case. It's like a little transformer. So let's just go ahead and unfold this and then we'll talk about it. I always use OEM keys. I grab them over at whokeys.com. This is the price you're going to pay for Windows 11 Pro if you get a retail key. Let's check those prices on whokeys.com. $30, we can do better. Put in TS25, click apply. There we go, $23.22. You got Windows 11 Pro, Windows 11 Home, Windows 10 Home, and we have a couple different flavors of LTSC. 2021 gets updates until 2027, and the 2021 IoT edition gets updates until 2032. Also, if you're sick of paying that monthly fee for Office, you can get an offline version of Office. They've got 2019 and 2016. 2016 will get most people by, in my opinion. You can also use the coupon code TS25 on these to save 25% on this as well. Let's go ahead and check out with our copy of Windows 11 Pro. All right, just put in my card info. There we go. Click on View Keys and Codes. Once you get to the User Center, click on Get the Key. You'll see your key right here in the middle. Go ahead and highlight that, copy that, press Start, and then type Activate. You'll see Activation Settings. Go ahead and click on that. And then right here it says Not Active. Just click on Change Product Key. Paste in our product key and then click on Activate. Hey, look at that, active. Head over to whokeys.com. Thanks to them for sponsoring. And now on to our regularly scheduled program. So it unfolds and then you just remove the monitor. And in order to set this up, you fold it into kind of a triangle. It never goes to a full 90-degree angle. There's always a little bit of an angle, which it doesn't bother me as long as you put it on the desk and whatever. And then as far as the stand goes, well, it's got a Visa mount on the back, so you can mount it to whatever you want. But with this stand, it's magnetized. And even though the monitor does have some weight to it, this is a very strong magnet. So you just fold the stand together and the monitor will snap into place on the magnet, and then you can move it around. And get this, the stand is big enough and supportive enough that you can even rotate this 90 degrees and run it in portrait mode. So you got landscape and portrait with this. So that's just the setup that we're working with right here. Now let's talk about the specs, because if it didn't look good, then who cares about all this stuff? But fortunately, it's one of the best IPS displays that I've seen when it comes to portable monitors. And I would even put it up against a lot of other 23 or 24 inch monitors that have similar specs. This one is going to be a tiny bit more expensive because of the nature of it being portable, having a handle, having the ability to fold down and all that kind of stuff. So you pay a slight premium for that. It's also going to have a higher build quality to make sure it can travel safely and all that. As far as just how it looks and how it performs compared to similar monitors, I think it's pretty good. So we have an IPS display right here, 100 Hertz, 1080p, 115% of the sRGB gamut. You got your 178 degree viewing angles, and we also have HDR that you can enable on this. Try that. I'm going to be using SDR mostly for this. And then the brightness on this is 300 nits, or candelas per square meter. All right, so let's just talk about this in use. Now, I found it to be extremely useful for video editing and stuff like that. I'm not sure if I got any footage of that. I'm mostly going to be showing gameplay and all that. So as far as the ports go, we have just a mini HDMI, which they have included a mini HDMI cable. I normally complain about that because I hate mini HDMI because I never have a mini HDMI cable, but they've included one. So thank you very much. Then we have 2 Type-C. One of the Type-C will allow you to just plug it in with that one cable, and as long as your device supports it, it can provide power and it'll act as DisplayPort. Then we have another Type-C that is used specifically for power, and that's if you're going to be using the HDMI, or if you have a device that can do DisplayPort over USB-C, well, you plug that into the first one, but if it's, doesn't have enough power, then you're going to have to plug in another, Type-C for the power. Also, we have an audio port right there on the back, and it does have some built-in speakers that sound okay. Not insane, but Now, once you get all this plugged in, we also have USB Type-A on the top. We have 2 of those. So it gives you a couple options for expandability there as well. So on the back, we got our menu button, and then you got your plus and minus. That works for both volume adjustment and also you use the up and down to adjust the brightness, obviously. As far as the cables that they've included, well, they've given us everything. We've got a couple USB cables. We got USB-C that's only powered. We got a full featured USB-C cable. We have a couple of adapters that are USB, I guess just male to female, and they're USB Type A. Then we have our HDMI cable that's included. And then lastly, we have an adapter cable that's USB Type A to USB Type C. I think it's kind of crazy they've included so many cables. I'll give you the pros and cons really quick when it comes to the picture quality. I've looked at a lot of mini LEDs lately, and those things have like 1:1,000,000 contrast ratio. So compared to that, I found the contrast to be a little harsh, you know, like the not as much of a gradation between the blacks and whites, but I mean, compared to a lot of other IPS monitors, this looks just fine. It's an IPS monitor, so the blacks are not super black either. But when it comes to what this is, a portable monitor, it looks really good in my opinion. I mean, I do really like having this vertical. It'd be cool to have two of these, have one vertical and one horizontal and travel with that, but that would be a lot of stuff to throw in my suitcase. But then I could sit here and scroll through my list of big box PC games that I keep, like just scroll vertically forever. But yeah, the vertical is quite nice. I've shown enough footage on the screen. I think I've talked about it enough. You understand what it is. You see how it works. And I'm losing steam. I've not been fully well lately. So I think we're going to wrap it up right here. I think you got a good idea of what you're looking at. The stand is awesome. I can't believe how sturdy it is. Anyway, this is the Kefeya D1. Let me know how you would use this. Will it fit in your suitcase? Where are you going to take it? All right, I'll see you later.